Hey, 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 Instagram. We're going to jump on live. We're going to have a conversation with a dear, dear friend of mine. She's going to come on. Hopefully she'll jump on. She's done some amazing stuff out in the media, on TV and everything. We're going to talk about affluence. We're going to talk about financial liberation. We're going to talk about her journey. She is someone that is helping people just like myself get podcasts out in the world, to get their message out in the world, to make a difference, to do the things that they want to do and everything. So it'll be interesting to have a conversation. She's been through the Apple purgatory and the whole thing. She says right now she's got like 41 of her clients trying to get podcasts up and running on Apple, and they are not. So she's going to be jumping on. She's going to request, I think she's going to request, and I'll bring her on. I've never done this before. This is going to be the first time me bringing someone on live. So, there she is. And we'll bring her on live. Let's see. Here it is. Oh, the camera. I'm learning this. Go, send request. And she should be jumping on real quickly here. Oh, there she is. Look at that.
Hi, my friend.
Oh my God.
I am so excited for your new podcast. And can I just tell you, I understand the pains right now.
Oh
fully.
My God.
It's worldwide, so at least we know it's not personal.
Well, I took it personally at first. I thought, because because you deal with people like me all the time. I mean, and the challenge is that the show, the podcast, it's our message, it's our mission. We want to get it out in the world, and we have this vision for it. It's just gonna like soar, and then all of a sudden, they don't even listen. I mean, Apple wouldn't even get anything done. I mean, we were fortunate that I had an old show that we could repurpose and that I haven't used since 2017. So we were able to rebrand it and move it through as a season 2 and kind of bypass all of it. And it took them a week to finally get the artwork up. So we got our artwork up and everything. But, I think that's, I was talking about it this morning. I did a live this morning because I'm in the middle of, you might hear some sounds. I'm in the middle of construction. And they're right outside my window. And I'm like going, hey, y'all, I'm going to be live. So let's try to keep it down. They forget. They're playing the music, but that's what life is. That's what entrepreneurship is. And
I'm going to say, what a beautiful parallel that the universe is showing you right now. And I know I can speak a little woo with you because we get it.
Oh yeah.
Right? That life is a construction zone, and the meaning that we give anything and how we respond to it is who we are, not what it is. And just to echo though, in case people are not aware of the Apple glitches. So my business partner and I, longtime podcast producer, we run something called the Podcast Accelerator, where we take students from, I have no idea what my podcast will be about, to a published show on all the platforms. And we guarantee an Apple published show. So 41 students have been sitting in limbo for 2 weeks. And just when we think we're going to get them through and all the bugs are fixed, we make an announcement, guys, it looks really good. 24 hours later, sorry. You know what I mean? So they're just sitting there after 8 weeks which you get, and you've been doing this a lot longer than 8 weeks. So we feel you. And as the guide or co-guide of that program, it's so hard not to get caught up in the frustration and the construction obstacles. But I also know that eventually they're going to get it worked out. I mean, there's already where Apple's on it. And I just keep thinking there's a divine purpose in this, right? And I don't know what that means, but in hindsight.
It's a great question. And it kind of goes back to some of the stuff that, because what got me to start moving forward. Because at first I was pissed off. How did they do this? They're a $1 trillion company and they can't get this stuff right. Are you kidding me? And on my week to launch, they're going to screw it up. So it was like,
how dare them?
Yeah. I mean, I was going through all emotions. So, I mean, I look calm, cool, and collected right now. But here's what I think we need to realize. And this God, it hits whether it's in money, in business. What got me, because I did an interview earlier and they said, how'd you kind of navigate? What allowed you to do this? And I said, well, I stepped back and said, what's the real purpose? Is this really about me hitting charts and getting that, you know what, look, I got a #1 national best-selling book. I've been on the charts. No, it's not. And once we started to look at it and say, the charts are really, yeah, it's about reach. But if that was the only purpose I was doing the show wouldn't exist. The real reason I'm doing the show was to serve, is to guide people, to help people, to get something out there that needs to be out there because people are struggling and suffering and they need the solution. And so once I got back to that, I said, all right, then the idea is to serve. Let's lean in. Let's, you know, the cover art that they may have up right now may not be, right now it's fixed, but before it wasn't fixed. I said, who cares? Don't judge a book by its cover. Don't judge a podcast by its cover. Get in there. The gold is in the inside. And so, you know, I look at it and like you say, there's a higher purpose, but, you know, I think that we need to always attach to why we're doing things. Why do we want to be wealthy? Why do we want to build a business? Why do we want to be in a relationship? Why do we want any of it? Because I think that's really the thing that keeps us going when the obstacles in the construction zone gets messy.
Totally. And you know, what's so beautiful about what you just said is the epitome of the mission of your show, right? It's like, we want these particular outcomes and the destination is like the target, the goal, the vision board, right? The breakthrough year that you and I right now in our mastermind with James Wedmore. But it's who do we need to be to get there? And can we reverse engineer that and be that personality, lead by example, and remain calm, collected, and understand that there will be something that we will see about this that benefited us, right? And this, and it may be subtle, because sometimes the breakthrough nuances that just take us to a quantum leap of growth in business and of course life happens in those little tiny shifts that are almost imperceptible. So I would imagine, at least the story that I tell myself, is that lesson, that learning, that gift that you've been able to receive of what was this all for anyway? Charts or impact? And when you got back to the truth, oh my gosh, how beautiful. Then that just keeps you aligned. By the way, can I just say
Oh. Look at that. Oh, what?
I am babysitting my pup's best friend. My pup's over there, but that's Georgia. She needed to make a debut. Anyway, I love that gift for you though, Mel. Can you see that if you lead with that, I mean, you're going to magnetize even many more people to you, because you're leading with integrity and authenticity. You're letting people know, yep, this shit is up and it's frustrating and I'm so disappointed and it's hard. And I had these expectations. And now I'm coming back to what is it all about? I'm here to serve. Beautiful.
Well, you know, I had this conversation with my dear friend, David Bach, because he said to me, he goes, dude, you know, I've got the book that I'm working on affluence and money and a rich life. I've got the show coming out. I just finished a 2-year journey with cancer. And he's like, why are you doing this? You don't need to work. You don't need to do these things. You can just settle in and cruise. I said, you know, what's driving me more than anything else is one of the struggles that I had when I got diagnosed with cancer. No one in my family ever had cancer. And I have none of the risk factors. I'm not a drinker. I'm not a smoker. I live a healthy life. You know, yeah, I had a sweet tooth and that kind of thing. But I never found the reason why. And I kept looking in the past. I kept getting into a dark place. I kept spiraling out of control. And what I realized is that the why wasn't behind me. The why was in front of me. Ooh. That I had the ability to make the cancer something valuable, make the cancer something meaningful, because I watched people during my cancer, during the pandemic, struggling financially. And I struggled medically and emotionally and physically, but I didn't struggle financially because of what I did. Yeah. And so David said, why did you do this? And I said, why are you trying to go through this, you know, craziness? And I said, because it's going to make the cancer mean something. It's going to allow me to know that the cancer was I can make peace with it. And I can also maybe give peace to those that I get to serve. And so we go, and I think that's the thing that starts to drive us through is our ability to connect to something beyond, and this is blasphemy for an accountant to say this, but to connect to something beyond the bottom line, beyond just the profit. I truly believe, especially in business, entrepreneurs, their primary goal is to improve the human condition, and the byproduct, not the product, but the byproduct of improving the human condition is profits. But it's not the sole thing. It's not the sole focus. And I know that my accountant colleagues would go, are you out of your mind? It's about the numbers. It's not about the numbers, because there's plenty of people with numbers and no life.
Well, right. And then it's about how effective are the numbers anyway, because we all know about vanity metrics. Someone can have 10 million followers on the gram, for example, and it really doesn't mean anything. It could be bought. They could, we don't really know. Or is it deeply engaged, or at the very least, highly effective? But what you just brought up reminds me of my ultimate mentor is Tony Robbins, as he has thousands and thousands and thousands of other online entrepreneurs, coaches. And he talks about the two fundamentals for, just an ultimate life. And he says it's the science of success, or achievement, excuse me, but then the art of fulfillment. It's like you can have all the success in the world, like you have the financial success. You don't have to work another day in your life. But that art of fulfillment is what you're going toward, because you want to know that what you just went through had a real reason, right? It's like you made it through. You're thriving now. You're on the other side to tell the story. And now you've got so many other gifts inside just the art of achievement. Now you want to help others really own the art of fulfillment, which is, again, a paraphrase of what you just said, but that's what I love the most. And what's so cool about this is that I know for sure this is going to help you look back and be like, truly that moment, those couple of weeks where I was delayed, allowed me to take inventory of what are my beliefs, what are my values, and what am I really standing for. And it's going to anchor you even more so into the purpose of this mission. And I just think it's going to explode beyond your wildest imagination because of you gleaning these insights. At least this is what I'm intending for you to manifest. Let's just call it in right now.
Well, I think you're right, because I think the conversations we're having around this right now that I'm having as I'm doing these lives and these interviews are different, because we're calling it out. Because at first I was sitting back saying, oh, I don't want to let people know that there's problems. And I go, no. Let's let them see the messy. Come on.
Yeah, messy action. Here's why, Mel. Most people don't move forward because they're so afraid of this moment right here. Yeah. They're so afraid of what will others think. They're so afraid of not getting it perfect. They're so afraid of something going wrong. And what if I fail? And oh my God, what does that mean about me? I'm not good enough. You know what? So I'll just stay safe and content and never try anything that requires a risk. Yeah. So here you are in the face of it and sharing the messiness, which, by the way, is the only thing that people can relate to. If all you wanted to share was your success and even overcoming cancer, all that's great, but it's not as relatable as the struggle and the mess and the problem that you're here to solve from the inside out.
Yeah. So it's so good. And you've been on a kind of a wondrous journey too.
I've been in the wild, wild west of the online business. I mean, it's amazing. And by the way, I have several of my podcast accelerator grads that have tuned in. I want to say hi to Bonnie. I saw that Carrie had tuned in. I saw that Jen was here a moment ago. So one of the signature programs, yes, that I run is, my mission is to empower millions to be seen and heard, messy and all. I want it authentic. And I think that's what the world wants, is for us to rise up exactly as we are and not wait for it to be perfect, because I believe that, of course, ready is a lie. And I know you do too. It's like, take the action, you'll get the clarity, and then you'll be able to aim, right? But so many afraid of that right there. So we've got this program that we run twice a year, and our students were supposed to graduate almost 2 weeks ago with their podcast out on Apple. 41 podcasters. And I mean, these are like accomplished PhDs, seasoned Fortune 100 CEOs, celebrity speakers. Like, they've been through a lot. This has caused them to really slow down and take a breath, right? Because it's like so frustrated. They marketed, they promoted, they shared to their list, they shared on social, and now it's like, uh-oh. And so imagine being at the helm of that. It's not just my own. I felt responsible for one beautiful souls. So learning how to manage that and not get caught up in my own former codependency of like, you know what? At some point, this is such a lesson for the world of building a business and wanting to reach more people anyway. You got to be unattached to how it unfolds.
Well,
right? Let it go. Because otherwise, it's like we're going to be stuck and stay small always. So it's like, be curious, get out the virtual popcorn and watch the movie. Because that's
I I'm totally with you. I think that, this idea of, well, we get all these people that keep parading their Facebook perfection in front of us, and we think that's the way it's supposed to be. And the fact is life isn't that way, and business isn't that way. Financial isn't that way. Look, I got investments in the market. Market goes up, market goes down. It gets ugly, it gets pretty. I mean, the fact is that if I allow my self-worth to be determined by my net worth, by the vagaries of the market, the volatility of the market, God, what kind of personality am I going to have? If I do that with my business, if I do that and I bring that home into a relationship, this is why I think we need to have, and this idea, at least with me, and why I want the show out so badly, is that we made money taboo. We don't want to talk about it. And yet we have 78% of the people living check to check. You've got 62% that are sitting back saying, I'm going to have to work into my retirement years or reduce my lifestyle. And yet it's a solvable problem. If we can just give them the knowledge, if we can give them the guidance. The financial services industry, in my mind, they love keeping it complicated because it makes us dependent upon them. And it's not complicated, it's simple. It may not be easy, but if we give them that, so the show is a safe place to have real conversations about money, about the trials and the tribulations, the struggles of an entrepreneur, the fact that maybe you feel like you're on a treadmill and we want to make you, instead of a treadmill entrepreneur, an affluent entrepreneur. How do we do that? And you're doing the same thing. You're doing the same thing to allow someone to say, I've got something that's inside of me. Yes. And I want to get it out, but I'm scared because let's face it, this business that we're in, this expert space, this messenger business, as I call it, is actually the hardest business to be in because it forces you to put yourself at risk, not just potentially financially, but more importantly, personally, psychologically, spiritually, to put yourself out there and allow yourself to be judged and not take those daggers and put them in if they're judged wrong because they don't understand the mission. And it's really easy for people that are sitting back doing nothing to put something on a keyboard and type it out. And I honor everyone that's willing to go after their dreams because the underlying premise of everything that I'm doing is that I believe that financial independence is a birthright. And it is ours to claim. And we just do a horrible job as a society to educate, support, and give them the tools to go claim it.
Absolutely. Why your show is a must listen. I was listening to a podcast yesterday because, of course, if you have a podcast, you probably binge many, many podcasts. I built the first multiple six figures of my business. I want to give Amy Porterfield a shout out right now.
Oh, she's a dear, dear friend.
Oh, I know she is for you, but I've never even met the woman. I've taken one course from her, but I listened to her podcast religiously the first 18 months of me building my business. No ads, no email list, like just marketing on Facebook with live video. And my first multiple six figures came from listening to her podcast. I did everything she said to do. I was like, I'm going to just dial into her step by step. Even on her podcast, I built a multiple six figure business because of what she shared for free. Then I was listening to a podcast yesterday. Tony Robbins was on that show, just so happens, and she's a big marketer, an 8-figure marketer. I can't remember her last name because I had never heard of her. Again, the world of podcasting is so beautiful. Shailene something, maybe you know her.
Shailene Johnson.
Yes, perfect.
Another dear friend.
Oh my goodness. Okay, I love it, of course. And Tony had shared a stat that shocked me. He said that the self-education industry will be $1 trillion industry by 2025. It's surpassing right now virtually everything, and they expect it to have an increase that's so vertical that it will blow everyone's mind. So the time is now to get into it. But where are people primarily learning and getting educated? From people like me and you, putting out podcasts or YouTube or whatever it is, but the free stuff, the content, and that will magnetize our listeners to us and be part of our community where we can grow together, our impact and our income. But that self-education industry, that's like, if you want to teach people how to cat knit, or knit cat hairs, that's an actual thing. Yeah. Or learn how to cook a recipe while, mastering the flavors of leadership. Got a podcast like that out there. I mean, it's so interesting. And this is the time to not say, who am I to start that, right? You got 1,000 followers on Instagram or Facebook. you've got a community, you can blast off, but just make sure this is my humble request to your followers, is tune into people like Mel, who are going to give it to you real, messy, authentic, who are proof of concept, right? Because you want to model after someone to shortcut 10 years, maybe 2 decades of blood, sweat, and tears and surviving cancer, being on the other side. But maybe just in a few podcast episodes or in an 8-week course, literally, I'm going to give you what I wish I had known, but that was 10 years of my expertise mastered for you, right?
Oh, yeah, without a doubt. I mean, we shortcut it. Most of everything that I teach, I mean, I'm a CPA by education, so I've been in the financial game and everything, but I still made mistakes.
Of course.
I mean, I've lost more money. I mean, just in one investment when it went, when I found out it was a Ponzi scheme. I mean, I could have paid for 3 PhDs. I mean, it was well into the 7 figures, but the lessons that came out of it, the rules of investing that I teach now come out of that. And some of it goes against the grain of the traditional advice, only because I go, this is what works for me. This is what's worked. You know, I look at the principles, my son and his wife, 31 and 27 years old, expecting the first child. I'm going to be granddad. You know, here they are at 31 and 27. They're abiding by the principles, the fundamental truths, the system of behavior, and they've got 3 homes. They've got a multi-million-dollar net worth at that age. And so, and it has nothing to do with luck. And that's my point, is that you don't have to be born into it. You just have to do it. You've got to understand it. You've got to learn it. We can't just, as a society or as an individual, even if you're in a committed relationship, this is one of my core beliefs, is that as much as I'm kind of the numbers person in our family, you know, no surprise there, my wife is involved. We have conversations around money because it's important for us to be on the same page. We may not be on the same line, but we want to be on the same page and get in the game, because when we're in the game, it's the time in the game that matters, not the time of the game. So let's get in the game and let's do it messy. Let's have that fun. Let's look at it and go, some of this might not go so well, but if we do it smart, it might leave a little mark, but it's not going to scar you. I mean, hell, I came back from losing 7 figures. Me and 2 buddies lost $4.5 million. 1/3 of everything I owned was gone, wiped out. But you can either take that, curl in the corner in fetal position and hope the storm passes, or you can sit back and say, what's next? What did I learn? What did I do? What's next? And then move beyond it.
I love it, Mel. It's so reminiscent for me of Theodore Roosevelt's very famous quote, and my favorite, "Man in the arena," right?
Oh, God.
Mel Abraham says, because she basically took that and ran with it and created an entire brand and mission and woke up millions around the world. But she says, if you're not also in the arena getting your ass kicked, I do not want your opinion. And I'm like, God, it's so true. But when you are in the arena with your fellow entrepreneurs and you're listening to stories like yours, right? Not just the 1/3 of your net worth loss and then building it again, right? Recovering from cancer, you know, falling in love a little later in life to the greatest true love of your life. All these beautiful stories that come from living a beautiful dynamic life. But it's like, we get to share in these stories. And this is why I joined the mastermind with James Wedmore, and I was fortunate enough to be selected and get to meet you in there, is because I wanted to be in the arena with other entrepreneurs, right? It's like, and learn from each other, grow with each other, share with each other. And I said to James, it's the first day of our first retreat, I was like, this is already worth the price of admission for me for the whole year. And it's because I didn't know any other fellow online entrepreneurs. And it can be a lonely world out there. I needed to pay just so that I knew I wasn't crazy in moments, or when I'm in the fetal position, metaphorically or figuratively, you can imagine, that I don't give up, that I keep going, that my worst stories become my best stories that I get to share with my students. I was sharing a story the other night. They're about to launch their first webinar, right, for their first paid program. And I was sharing that I remember one of my webinars, I spent like $7,000 on ads. I had 412 people show up for the webinar. 1 person signed up. And it was my dad, Mel. It was my dad. I had to refund my dad. 412 people, $7,000 in ads, 0 conversions. And I was in the fetal position. And I turned off all the lights and cried my little eyes out and thought it was over and almost canceled my trip to Mexico the next morning. I can't go and enjoy myself. My life is over. I got to get a job. And I was like, no, you don't. Go to Mexico, go float in the pool, and it'll all work out. I did, and I had my biggest enrollment of all time because I just allowed myself to breathe and come back to neutral energy instead of stress and tense or feeling all the worries and anxiety around what some people could imagine it would be before they jump into the arena. And that's what I love about your show, is that you're going to set them up for success so that they can avoid some of those construction roadblocks and get them through it in ease and grace. And I'm just proud of you. I'm excited for you. I know we're all in the waiting room right now, but we're about to go big, and it's going to be amazing, and we're going to reach the right people at the right time, and we just have to trust in that.
Amen, friend. Yeah, it's been a journey. It's been fun, and this is this shows really kind of my tour back. I'm back, you know, and ready to serve at a bigger level and with bigger messages and making a difference. So listen, this is always a joy chatting with you and having the conversations. Those of you that are out there, check it out, the Affluent Entrepreneur Show. It is live. Go to melabraham.com/show live. Get in there, download it. Let's have some conversations. I want to bring some of you on. I want to coach you. I want to mentor you. This is for you. It's the intersection of business and money, and it's how we scale business and money so we can scale our life. That's the key. And we're doing a giveaway, so get over to that page, download it, review it, let me know what's going on, and know that we're here for you. Michelle's here for you, and we're rooting for you because you deserve it.
Absolutely. We are in this together, my friend. Thank you again for having me on and getting to share some love with your community. I'm honored to be one of your guests and excited for your show. So I'll be heading on over there myself. So melabraham.com/live show.
Show live.
Show live. Got it. Wanted to make sure you got that. Okay, cool.
Yep.
All right, my friend.
You got it.
Beautiful rest of your day.
Thanks, Michelle.
You're welcome.
Talk soon.
Take care. See ya.
Bye.